Hi everyone, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Anna, and you're listening to We Judge a Show by Its Pilot, a podcast hosted by us, a married couple with an endless love for TV.
Whether you're looking for a new show to binge or wanting to revisit an old classic, let us be your guide through the infinite list of TV shows.
So come join us every Friday as we discuss the pilot for a TV show while also sharing personal stories that parallel the storylines.
We Judge a Show by Its Pilot, where your new favorite show is just one click away. Hello everyone, welcome back to our pod.
Hello! I was trying to sing. That was not a very good version of singing.
Hello.
Hello, la 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 la.
So it is musical month.
Don't let that scare you. I will not be singing on every pod.
It is musical month, and we have a lot of really fun shows this month. And this first show that we're doing today is a show that you and I were both really big fans of.
Oh, totally.
And then the second show was a show that you watched that I had never seen.
Yep.
And then the third and the fourth one are going to be shows that neither one of us has ever seen.
Correct.
We've already watched the third show, really liked it. We have a fourth show, we haven't watched it yet. So, anyway, so today we are opening up with a show that you and I are both big fans of.
Yep.
It was, I'd say, one of the first shows you and I really talked about before other than like we talked about reality TV, we talked about The Challenge.
But this was going on when we met.
No, it had already ended. It had just ended.
Just ended?
It ended the year before. Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
And so we are doing Glee, a show that for the first two, I think people kind of forget, like when this show first came out, for the first two seasons, it was huge.
Oh, yeah.
It was, everyone in it was like immediately like overnight sensation famous. People that didn't like musicals were watching it because they were singing like contemporary music. And it was just a show that was really ingrained into pop culture. And then overnight, just everyone stopped watching it.
Yeah,
there were a lot of factors. There were a lot of factors as to why. But
that.
For the most part, it was one of those shows that, fizzled out just as quickly as it popped.
Yeah, we can talk about that when we're getting into the show, but a couple of big things happened.
Yeah.
And then it kind of tarnished the legacy.
The legacy, more or less, thanks to TikTok, and because in 2020 and during the pandemic and on TikTok, the show kind of had a resurgence in popularity and a new generation started watching it because clips were starting to come up on TikTok and people were like, what's this show? People, that were little kids when this show was popular that didn't even know what this show existed. So it has had a resurgence of popularity. I don't think there's going to be a revival anytime soon.
No.
I think just the whole vibe of the show now, it's unfortunate. I'll say it's unfortunate the kind of the legacy that this show left. But if you're anything like Anna and I, we are big fans of this show. We're not sitting here advocating for certain people involved in the show. We are just sitting here as fans of music, as fans of supporting the arts, fans of the underdog, fans of very dark satirical humor, and heartwarming humor as well, heartwarming moments. The show does make you tear up. The show does give you all the feels, if you're familiar with that phrase.
Yeah.
So we have a lot to talk about, a lot of music. I have to say, a lot of songs on this a lot of songs on this episode. We got a lot to get into, and you're going to do what you always do, and you're going to give us some episode and series information.
All right, Glee pilot. Glee was an American jukebox musical comedy drama that aired on Fox from May 19th, 2009 to March 20th, 2015. The series ran for 6 seasons and has a total of 121 episodes. Glee was created by Ryan Murphy, Brad Falchuk, and Ian Brennan. Brennan came up with the idea for Glee, but the original concept was a film about an underdog show choir and their rise to glory. Originally, the film was much darker and was more like the film Election, but about a show about choir world, which, if you're from the Midwestern U.S., show choir is a big deal.
So, real quick, we had a show choir in high school. It was called Entourage. I don't know why it was called Entourage, but it was show choir. It was Glee Club. I didn't know that until years after this show ended. I didn't fully know how big Glee Club show choir was in the Midwest.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know how big of a deal it was. Our friend Wes is from Indiana.
Yeah.
And he was like, his high school had like a nationally ranked
Dang.
show choir. It was a big deal. I forgot what they were, like the Highlanders or something like that. It was like that was their mascot. But like he was telling me about it one time, and I was just like, I had no idea. Like it's no exaggeration. Like it was. I don't know if it still is, but it was a big
Probably.
deal. It was a big deal in the Midwest for a really long time.
Glee centers around the lives of the students and faculty at William McKinley High School in Lima, Ohio. Specifically the Misfits, who are the members of the Glee Club that's headed by a passionate Spanish teacher and former member of the Glee Club. The season 1 cast includes Diana Agron as head cheerleader Quinn Fabray, Chris Colfer as the resilient Kurt Hummel, Jesselyn Gilsig as Terry Schuster, Will's selfish wife, Jane Lynch as Sue Sylvester, the school's over-the-top cheerleading coach, Jayma Mays as Emma Pillsbury, the school's germophobic guidance counselor, Kevin McHale as Artie Abrams, a wheelchair-bound student with a smooth voice, Leah Michelle as Rachel Berry, the overly ambitious self-proclaimed leader of the Glee Club, Corey Monteith as Finn Hudson, the quarterback with a chip on his shoulder, Matthew Morrison as Will Schuster, the Glee Club director with an endless amount of passion and patience, Amber Riley as Mercedes Jones, a confident Glee Club member with a powerhouse voice, Mark Sailing as Noah Puckerman, or Puck, a football player known for being a bully, and Jenna Ushkowitz as Tina Cohen Chang, an introverted goth member of the Glee Club. The pilot episode also introduces us to recurring characters: Iqbal Thiba as Principal Figgins, Romy Rosemont as Carol Hudson, Finn's mother, Patrick Gallagher as Coach Ken Tanaka, the head football coach, Stephen Tobolowsky as Sandy Ryerson, the former Glee Club director. And although she has no dialogue, the late and the great Naya Rivera makes her first appearance as the legendary Santana Lopez.
She has no dialogue in this episode. It's
Yeah,
so
just, like,
crazy.
passes
It's
by.
she's with Quinn at one point in the episode, and at the end when they're watching them from the balcony with Sue and Quinn, and I'm just like, wow, she had no dialogue. Like, I kind of like had to go back and think. I was like, she had no dialogue. I mean, she ends up becoming my favorite character on the show, so it's just crazy that she just really, I still to this day wonder like what they originally wanted her character to be.
Oh,
I don't know if they ever intended her to be one of the main characters.
To say Glee was an instant hit is an understatement. Glee still holds the record for the most entries in the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, with 207 entries, with their infamous cover of Don't Stop Believin', by Journey reaching number 4. The cast did several live performances, including 2 international tours and a theatrical live concert. There were 33 albums and 460 songs released as singles on iTunes. The series had a total of 769 songs performed on the show.
That is an exact number.
Yeah. Some of the most frequent artists they covered were Queen, Madonna, Katy Perry, Fleetwood Mac, and Michael Jackson. Glee also became known for having several celebrities featured on the show, including Kristen Chenoweth, Idina Menzel, Neil Patrick Harris, Sarah Jessica Parker, Kate Hudson, Gwyneth Paltrow, Patti LuPone, Whoopi Goldberg, Ricky Martin, John Stamos, Carol Burnett, Britney Spears, and many more.
I had to stop at some point. I was just like, there are so many more celebrities on the show.
Although Glee originally rocketed into pop culture, the series eventually declined in viewership and overall popularity by the end of season 4. The series was surrounded in controversy, with rumors of rivalries amongst the cast and guest stars and extras claiming Ryan Murphy and others played favorites. Towards the end of season 4, it was reported that Corey Monteith had entered rehab for drug addiction, and just before the filming of season 5 began, Monteith sadly died of a drug overdose. Monteith's character was considered the heart of the show, and it showed through season 5, which is considered to be the show's downfall. Despite all of this, Glee has maintained a cult status and had a spike in popularity during COVID when clips of the show went viral on TikTok, introducing the series to a new generation. You can currently watch the entire series on Hulu and Disney Plus.
So what was it about the show? Because did you watch the pilot like when it originally aired, or did you kind of catch it on reruns?
Yeah.
What immediately kind of drew you? What was it about it that kind of immediately drew you in? Because you stayed faithful to it until season
5.
Till season 5.
Yeah,
okay.
It was when they moved to New York and had to split. I think I just loved it, one, because I have told the tale of me trying out for choir in elementary school and being told that I cannot sing.
Aww.
I truly believe that people who can sing just have a gift.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think the gift of singing just is amazing.
Same.
If you can sing, you can just move people. Mm-hmm. And so I think I wanted to watch it because of that. One, because, I love anything dealing with school and high school dramas and comedies, whatever it might be. But, I think it was what was on, and it might have just been popular 2009-ish. I was still watching network television at that point, so it was probably the new and the latest thing that was going on. So I just started watching it, and I liked it, because I'm trying to think, like, any of the major players, I probably didn't really know any of them.
What was so special about this show was that they intentionally wanted unknown people in it. They wanted people that they wanted to cast, I would say, normal looking, everyday looking people that had these tremendous talents. And you had Matthew Morrison, who had been on Broadway. He played Link on Hairspray on Broadway. Then you had Leah Michele, who was on Les Mis on Broadway. And then Jenna Ushkowitz, who was in Spring Awakening with Leah Michele and Jonathan Groff on Broadway. And other than that, no one had ever really been on anything. Naya Rivera had been like a child actor for a little while.
Heather Morris was a dancer.
She was on So You Think You Can. She was a dancer on So You Think You Can Dance, I think. It was on one of those. She was a background dancer for Beyonce and for Britney Spears. So they all kind of came from different walks of life. Like Kevin McHale was in a boy band at some point before he was on Glee. Chris Colfer had just graduated from high school. Like he was like 1 year out of high school. This was like the first thing he ever auditioned for. They really just I think Jane Lynch and Jayma Mays were like the most established actors of the main cast. Of course, Romy Rosemont, she's been in like a million episodes of Law and Order, but like she was like a guest role at that point. She wasn't like a main character, but they really wanted to have like these. I think what drew me in, much like you, I love me a high school show. I love me a high school drama. I immediately loved the show's sense of humor. I love Ryan Murphy, love him or hate him. He knows how to write a funny, dark sense of humor, very twisted kind of. You're not supposed to laugh, but you're laughing. Like that whole mentality.
Sue Sylvester,
is
every
the
time
epitome
she opens her
epitome
mouth.
of that.
I think I also love a theme.
Yeah.
And every episode had a theme to it. And I love how the music played into that theme and how it was carried through.
Do you have any favorite episodes, like themed episodes, like specifically themed?
Of course, Britney and Britney.
Oh, yeah.
That's
the
probably
Britney Spears episode. Yeah,
one of my top. Toxic.
Me Against the Music is just chef's kiss.
No, I'm trying to think of the one where they all get drunk.
Blame It on the Alcohol.
Blame It on the Alcohol
is one of my favorite episodes from any show.
And then A Very Glee Christmas is probably in my top 10. And then Loser Like Me, original
song. Yeah, that's a good one.
Original
I
song.
loved the Rumors episode, the Fleetwood Mac episode. I was a huge fan of that. And season 3 and 4 had a lot of really great themed episodes. I loved the Saturday Night Fever episode of Glee. I think that was season 3. And then season 4, of course, they did the movie soundtrack episode, which was my favorite because there was a Dream Warriors reference. They didn't sing Dream Warriors, but there was a Dream Warriors reference from one of my favorite characters who is like the movie guy. But they sang like Shout, they sang In Your Eyes from Say Anything, and Unchained Melody, and they reenacted the scene from Ghost. Like, it was like such a great episode, and they sang Footloose at the end. There was a bunch of stuff from Moulin Rouge. Like, it was just such a great episode. And season 4 doesn't get as much love as it should because that was when they first introduced the New York plot or storyline. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word storyline. It's late, y'all. We're both tired.
Yes.
But we're excited to do this episode. But yeah, season 4 had a lot of really great themed episodes. They had then they did the mashup of Danger Zone and I love that old time rock and roll where it was the Tom Cruise, their tribute to like Tom Cruise from the 80s. But yeah, they have a bunch of other really great themed episodes, but I think the Madonna episode's probably like very iconic. Many great songs from that one. But do you have like favorite songs specifically from the show? I mean, there's 700 and whatever. I mean, there are so many.
I'm going to say I love so many of the ones they covered, of course.
Yeah.
But I can always go back and watch original song, and I just love that episode.
So after we watched the pilot, we immediately, you were like, can you play original song? That's one of my favorite episodes. Yes. So I'm just like, of course. I'm just
Trouty
like,
Mouth.
Hell to the No.
Hell to the No.
Big Ass Heart.
Big Ass Heart. I mean, it's just like.
Trouty Mouth is
Trouty
epic.
Mouth is the best one. I mean, I just die laughing. And then, I love that Mercedes gets a little bit of her due because then we all learn later about all the background controversy and favoritism and maybe why she was never really a major player. I mean, she was featured a lot, but never probably got her due on the show that she truly, truly deserved. Love her. But I love that episode.
Yeah,
I think I can watch it from start to finish and love every song on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are other ones as well, but that one for me, it cracked me up.
Yeah,
totally.
That's a really fun one. I liked the first episode where they the first time they went to New York as a Glee club, and that was also where they did original songs at Nationals, and they did a song called "Pretending" that I still listen to in the car because it's their original song that Finn and Rachel sing at Nationals, and I mean, "Light Up the World's" a good one, but I mean, like, Pretending is just, I don't know who was writing those original songs, but like they did such a good job. Like, they made legit singles, like songs that could have been released as singles. Get It Right is such a beautiful song, like and it's so like hits you. It's one of those songs that like when you listen to the lyrics, you're like, wow, this is like really relatable, and this is something that like we've all felt before. And I have to say my favorite song, and it's anything by Naya Rivera. She's my favorite. She was my favorite singer. I loved her voice as much as I love Amber Riley's voice. Naya Rivera just had that voice that I just love so much, and her singing Songbird will bring me to tears because it's so sad what happened to her, and so sad what happened to Naya Rivera. And I just remember it was really one of the few times with a celebrity death where I was like, she's fine. They're going to find her. She washed on the shore. Like, she's going to be fine. And when it turned out that she had passed away, I remember being like legitimately
upset.
I cried. Like, I was upset. I think maybe I've only cried over like 3 celebrity deaths ever in my life. Anton Yelchin, Chris Farley, and Naya Rivera. Those are the 3. Like,
I just remember thinking like how it could have happened.
Yeah.
Like, that whole story of her going out with her son and how she managed to get him back onto the boat, but that she did not have enough strength to get herself up was just that that lake was infamous for that, and that's what made me sad, especially was that there were no warnings and that the company didn't provide like a ladder or rope for her to be able to pull herself back up with, or, you know, even also just letting, you know, not that she couldn't do it by herself, but that, you know, maybe there should have been a policy that at least 2 adults be on these boats. So that was what just made me super sad about hers, was
and then
just all of
for
that.
many reasons, her, Heather Morris and Gwyneth Paltrow singing Landslide. It is a moment that, like, I mean, that's such a beautiful, sad, beautiful song. And it means that song means so much to so many people, because it just has so many deep meanings to it. And it was performed beautifully. Gwyneth Paltrow was probably my favorite guest star, recurring
Holly
character.
Holiday.
Her and Kristen Chenoweth were like my 2 favorites, and Holly Holiday's the best. And all of her stuff, all the songs that she sang were great. The CeeLo song, F You, the CeeLo song that she sang, that was the best.
Hola, clase.
Oh, let's go get some tacos. I love it.
Conjunction, junction, what's your function?
Speaking of musicals, I was in Schoolhouse Rock when I was a young lad. I remember singing that song. All right, so
yes.
So the last question I'll get into when we're actually talking about the episode. We actually have a lot of episode to get into, so we can kind of go ahead and get into it now.
All right.
Because I have a song list of all the songs, and I'm going to give you some Glee trivia before we talk about the plot.
Holy crap.
I know. This is one of the few shows that I know so much stuff about it. So, like, I'm one of those people, like, when I become interested in something, I kind of learn everything about it. I kind of become, like, I'll just kind of go ahead and say I'll become, like, kind of obsessed with it. And I'll learn everything. Like, I did the same thing when I started watching Big Brother. I learned everything I possibly could about Big Brother. And now I know so much about it. All right, so I'm going to give you the songs that were performed in this episode and who sung them. And we are starting off with, I couldn't believe it, I completely forgot, Where Is Love from Oliver. Performed by Ben Bledsoe. So his name was Hank Saunders on the show. He was the boy at the very beginning that was singing with Sandy Ryerson. Rachel's kind of like watching them. Completely forgot about that. We have Respect by Aretha Franklin, performed by Amber Riley. I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry, performed by Jenna Ushkowitz. Mr. Cellophane from Chicago, performed by Chris Colfer, which he auditioned for the show with that song.
Right.
On My Own from Les Mis, performed by Leah Michele. She also sung that for her audition for Glee. Sit Down, You're Rockin' the Boat from Guys and Dolls. This is the first Glee Club performance with the original 5. That's Rachel, Kurt, Mercedes, Tina, and Artie.
Oh.
Can't Fight This Feeling by REO Speedwagon, performed by Corey Monteith. I remember that single really hit iTunes. Like, his rendition of that was like a big deal.
I have
iTunes.
a bunch of Glee songs on my iTunes, because that was about the time when iTunes was really popular.
This is 2009. I mean, this is beginning of they were making MySpace references on the pilot episode. I mean, the iPhone was so new at this point in time.
Right.
People were still rocking Blackberries. I know I was.
I did. It was.
We have Love and Touch and Squeezin' by Journey, briefly sung by Aaron Hendry and Jerry Phillips. This is the young Finn, and then the guy, I forgot his name. I'm going to say his name at some point, that the mom dated at
the boyfriend.
The grass guy. You're the One That I Want from Grease, performed by Corey Monteith, Leah Michele, and the New Directions. That's the name of the Glee Club. Rehab by Amy Winehouse, performed by Vocal Adrenaline. Epic. Leaving on a Jet Plane by John Denver, performed by Matthew Morrison. And the iconic, the song that even if you didn't watch Glee, you know about this, Don't Stop Believin' by Journey, performed by New Directions. So, and then we have the Swingles. They were an a cappella group. They performed many instrumental songs as background music, including Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, Flight of the Bumblebee, Soul Bossa Nova, which is the da-na-na-na from Austin Powers, Moonlight Sonata, and Gollywog's Cakewalk.
Okay, I just want to ask you a question. It's New Direction.
Yeah.
It's not Directions.
Yeah, it is. It's New Directions.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
The New Directions.
Oh, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are the New Directions.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I always thought it was New Direction.
You just got I forgot what it's called. Mandela affected.
Okay.
All right, so give you some random Glee facts that I didn't. So two things that I didn't know about.
Okay.
So the Glee Club, what we were just talking about, the Glee Club's name was New Directions. When Will was in the Glee Club, they were called the Singsations. That was the original name of the Glee Club.
When he was in high school.
And then the name of the Glee Club that was run by Sandy was called Rhythm Explosion.
Rhythm Explosion.
You only know this through the uncut version of the pilot, which I've never seen before. So
okay.
I don't know where that exists or if that exists anywhere.
I don't know. I've never heard of it.
So yeah, and then so the name Kurt Hummel, Chris Colfer's character, when he came in audition for his role, there really wasn't a role for him. He just kind of came in and he was like, we have this kid, he's really, really unique. You know, he was 19, he was a counter, he was a male soprano, like very interesting kind of person. Ryan Murphy made a joke. He said, "You look very Von Trappian," or something like that, like
Kurt,
Sound of Music. Yeah. So he was like, "Oh, I play Kurt actually," and he was like, "Oh," and then they named him Hummel because of the Hummel figurines that had the rosy cheeks.
Rosy cheeks.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Which I didn't know that. And then Leah Michele, when she was on her way to her audition, she got into a car accident in the middle of the lot, and then was like, "I have to go audition for this thing," and so she pulled her car in, and as she's singing her song, she's pulling glass out of her hair.
Oh.
That's like her infamous like audition story, that she had just gotten into a car accident.
Oh.
So yeah, those are my... and Corey Monteith wasn't known for being a singer. He was an actor and he was a musician. So when he sent in his audition tape, he didn't have a drum set, so he got all of this glass and Tupperware like around him and filmed himself playing drums on all of that, but intentionally didn't sing because he wasn't a singer, which is very fitting for his character, who didn't consider himself to be a singer.
So this was like pre-Anna Kendrick doing cups,
yes,
but he was doing Tupperware
yes.
stuff.
Yeah, and he didn't sing a song.
Okay.
All right, let's get into the plot summary.
Let's do it.
All right. Spanish teacher Will Schuester is driving his old car with a loose exhaust pipe to his parking spot at William McKinley High School in Lima, Ohio. Ambitious-driven and somewhat unbearable Rachel Berry watches Glee Club director Sandy Ryerson help a male student with a solo while also inappropriately touching his stomach. Rachel is extremely bitter because she wasn't given the solo, and after witnessing this, she reports Mr. Ryerson to Principal Figgins and gets him fired. Will is in the faculty lounge talking to his work friends, football coach Ken Tanaka and guidance counselor Emma Pillsbury. They are interrupted by cheerleading coach Sue Sylvester, who has brought them all coffee. The Cheerios are recurring national champions, so they get a bulk of the school's budget, while other departments are left struggling to survive. Emma informs Will that Sandy was fired and there is no one to take over the Glee Club. Will goes to Figgins to volunteer to be the new director, but is deflated when he learns that Figgins is going to cut the program. Will is a former student at McKinley and was a member of the Glee Club back when they were one of the top show choirs in the country, but after a decade or so, the Glee Club barely has enough members to survive and hasn't won a competition since the 90s. Will agrees to pay $60 a month to keep the Glee Club afloat and is strong-armed into doing after-school detention. This is to convince Figgins not to give the space to an AA group. At home, Will is also struggling to keep his marriage afloat. His wife, Terry, wants a life of luxury, has a shopping problem, and often nags Will into getting a better paying job so they can afford the things she wants. We also learn that they are trying to have a baby. Okay, so I'll go back to a question that we had. What are your thoughts on... So kind of a big thing with Will, particularly in season 1, is kind of this whole idea of like doing what makes you happy or following your passion versus making money. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think there's always the obvious that you have to have money.
Right.
But I also think that it doesn't have, I think you can find happiness within your means as well. I mean, I'm going to look back at my parents and, you know, obviously it was a much different time than it is today.
Yeah.
But like my dad probably at most made like $32,000 or $35,000 a year.
Yeah.
My mom did not work, especially when my dad was alive. She didn't really start doing tour guiding stuff until later, and then like her store demos and things. But like we never wanted for anything, you know? So there was never like this concept of you have to be rich to be happy to get the things that you want.
Right.
you could work, you just needed to learn how to budget and, you know, at least have a job to be able to buy those things. And I was taught that early. Like, you know, I had a job when I was 15 and part of it went into savings. And then my mom gave me part of it for me to spend. And I feel like you can do something that makes you happy, but you do also have to have money.
Right.
You know, I can also say from my personal experience, my first teaching job, I was a Spanish teacher like Mr. Schuster. I made $12,000 a year.
Yeah.
And this was in the mid 90s. And I had a college roommate and she was also a kindergarten teacher and we had fun and stuff, but I don't think I could have kept up with that long term.
Right.
I mean, there was no way I could live off of, that's like
Right.
welfare pay. And eventually I decided to go to law school because I was like, I cannot keep making this. And I probably could have gone to like a parish school system or a city school system. I was in private schools, but yeah, I was like, I need to make more money. But the making more money wasn't what was going to make me happy in life. I mean, it just was allowing me to own a home and buy a car, but those aren't the things that, you know, it wasn't because I needed 5 cars or 5 homes. I wasn't like Terry Schuster that just wanted to buy stuff. What do you think?
I'm pretty much in the same boat as you. I would love, I think we talked about this the other day, like I would love if I could get paid to do the things that I love to do. Like I would love to get paid to
do this podcast,
talk about movies, watch movies. I would love to be, you know, it would be cool to be a filmmaker. It would be cool to do this. It'd be cool to do that. But like, that's just not how the cards fell for me. And I think I think it's important to do what makes you happy. But like you said, you have to make money. You have to pay your bills. I don't want to live to work. I want to work to live. Like I want work to pay my bills but also pay for the things that I want us to do and also give me the time off to do the things that I want us to do or that we want to do. And I don't think there's anything wrong with following your passion. I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, if you do want to, you know, get paid to have a YouTube channel, or you do want to get paid to, you know, if you do want to go and be a filmmaker, like you can go do it, but you just need to understand that like you're going to be struggling financially for a long time before you reach any financial success, unless you get really lucky, like very few people do.
Well, and I think there's a big point in that you just said about like getting paid to do this podcast. Like I've recently talked again about like I would love to open a store. You know, I don't know how successful I would be. I don't know a lot about business and things like that of running an actual store. I've worked retail. But in the sense of what you just said about like a podcast and making money that way of like YouTubers or influencers, like I still go back to that and like the consumerism of like Terry of just wanting luxury goods just to say she has it,
right?
And like there's no real need for her to have all this crap,
right?
I mean, really, a lot of us get a lot of crap that we don't really need. I mean, go look in my bathroom
she
closet.
Has like 4 toilet brush holders in their closet. Not you, Terry does.
And so I look at like influencers right now and I see all like the brand, like when they're doing brand hauls. And I'm like, how many things of face cleanser, different kinds of face cleanser do you need? And then you find out they end up giving it away. And I'm like, but are you really being paid or are you being paid in goods? So it's all really confusing. And so I feel like if you have a good head on your shoulders, you can be happy within the means that you have. And also do the things that you want if you just don't go crazy.
I'm with you.
Anyway, long answer.
That's the whole point.
Okay.
Back to the episode. All right, so Will holds auditions for the new Glee Club with their new name, The New Directions. Mercedes Jones sings Respect by Aretha Franklin. Goth girl Tina Cohen Chang sings I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry. Kurt, who we met earlier, sings Mr. Cellophane from the musical Chicago. Rachel Berry sings On My Own from Les Mis. And although he joins the Glee Club, we never see Artie Abrams audition.
Oh, yeah.
They never...
Yeah.
I know, so they Kevin McHale and Jenna Ushkowitz have a podcast called And That's What You Really Missed, because that's what they always said on the recap of Glee, and that's what you really missed on Glee. And they talked about it, but I don't think they ever filmed anything. I don't think they ever recorded anything. I think maybe his character was like a last-minute addition. I don't know, but go listen to their podcast after this, and maybe they'll clue you in on it. So they have the first Glee Club rehearsal, which ends up being a disaster. Rachel has one of her famous tantrums and leaves the Glee Club. Will follows her out to the football field bleachers. Will tries to comfort her, but Rachel insists that she can't do Glee Club because she is tired of everyone hating her, and she doesn't want to be made a fool. Unless Will can find a male lead that can keep up with her, she doesn't see the point of continuing. She then says the line that became the tagline for the entirety of the show's run, being a part of something special makes you special. Will goes to Sandy for advice on how to run the Glee Club. Sandy isn't much help. Now that he's unemployed, he's become a pot dealer, which he says is much more lucrative than being a teacher. Sad but true, I'm sure. He gives Will a sample of his weed and sends him on his way. Will then gets advice from Emma. Emma says that instead of waiting for students to come to him, he needs to go out and do some recruiting. Will convinces Coach Tanaka to let him talk to the football players in hopes that a few will join and give the club more status. The football players laugh it off. A little later, Will overhears Finn singing in the shower. He has a great voice, Will decides to think outside the box to get Finn to join. Will plants the weed sample he got from Sandy into Finn's locker and basically forces him to join the Glee Club in order to avoid expulsion. Finn agrees. So this is just the beginning of the many times that Mr. Schuester really went over the line with his students. Something that the show became very famous for while it aired, after it aired. The Glee subreddit, it is still a main topic of conversation of how inappropriate and how invasive Will was in these students' lives.
Oh, bad.
I can't imagine. So there have been weirder things on TV shows. So I remember there was an episode of Saved by the Bell. This is a little off topic. There was an episode of Saved by the Bell where Mr. Belding got into a fight with his wife. His wife kicked him out, and so then he hangs out at Zach's house.
Okay, yeah.
That's his principal. He wants to hang out with the dudes, and it's just like, get out of my house, Principal Belding. Like, what are you doing? We are 16 years old. Get out of our house. Yeah, so yeah, just one of the many, many times that Mr. Schuester was inappropriate with his students. Finn tells us through narration about his past. His dad died in Iraq during Desert Storm, which led to Finn becoming really close to his mother. Finn had an interest in music and singing, but was often stifled by his mother, who was just trying to make ends meet. They both struggled to be happy, but things changed when Darren came into their lives. Darren worked as a landscaper and spent most of his afternoons with Finn and his mother. Darren was an avid music listener, and we see young Finn singing Journey with Darren. Darren tells Finn he has a great voice and he should stick with it. Things change when Darren leaves Carol, Finn's mother, for another woman. After that, Finn began to withdraw from the arts and focused on making his mother proud. The first Glee Club rehearsal with Finn goes well, and everyone is shocked to hear his singing voice. Back at home, Will and Terry have a fight over Terry's spending habits, and she tells him that if he had a better job, then they wouldn't be struggling financially. She says there's nothing wrong with wanting nice things. Terry mentions a job opening with her family's accounting firm. When Will rejects the idea, Terry reminds them that high school is over. She is no longer the head cheerleader, and he is no longer the golden boy. She implies that he needs to grow up and stop trying to relive his glory days. So I kind of agree. So Terry kind of has gotten a lot of like kind of post-show love for her. I mean, she goes off the deep end later in the season. Yeah. So, I mean, like, I'm pilot only. We're talking pilot Terry only. I really kind of understood a lot of what I didn't agree with a lot of what she said with, like, I understand there's nothing wrong with wanting nice things, but, like, it's okay to not have nice things, but at the same time, like, she had a really good point about Will, because a lot of that was Will wanting to relive his glory days. It was a lot of Will wanting to be young again, wanting to, but also like having the passion of, ultimately Will's passion is being a teacher. And so I think that's where Terry doesn't see that. I think she's like, I don't care what your passion is. I want you to make more money. But she is also correct with, you're trying to relive your glory days. It's time to grow up. Like, I get both sides of it, and I think that's why we were both kind of in the agreement of, we want you to follow your passion, but you also need to make money. And like, it's kind of what do you choose? How do you go about it? Things like that.
Yeah.
But I will say, I agreed with her a little bit during that scene. I'm like, she's kind of right.
Yeah.
Will decides to take the Glee Club to Carmel High to their school's Glee Club Invitational. Vocal Adrenaline are the current national champions, so it would be wise to check out the competition. After just one performance, that's when they perform Rehab, which is this big, elaborate, double backflips. These guys look like, these students look like they're 30 years old.
I know. I was like, how old are these people?
They make a joke about it a little later that they intentionally fail these kids over and over again, so they have to stay in high school, which I wonder the legality and reality of that. After just one performance, Will and the Glee Club realize that they are way out of their league. Vocal Adrenaline has a big budget, 5 times as many members, they do stunts, and their choreography is at a professional level. Plus, they sound incredible. Will comes home to find Terry waiting for him with 2 glasses of champagne and a congratulations banner. Terry informs Will that she is pregnant. Will is over the moon and realizes that he has to get a better paying job to afford a baby. I'll give Will that, like, he's just like, okay, I have to get a job now. I have to get a better job now. Will gathers the Glee Club kids in the auditorium and informs them that he is leaving McKinley. They are devastated, except for Finn, who is relieved. Will tells them that when you get older, you learn that sometimes you have to give up the things you love in order to better your life. Now alone on the stage, Will sings Leaving on a Jet Plane by John Denver. Before he leaves, Emma finds him in the teacher's lounge. She decides to show him a video of Will performing with the Glee Club when he was a student.
Oh,
I know. Emma said that I think they're performing That's the Way, I Like It. That's the song that they're singing. They did a whole disco theme. Emma says that's the happiest he's ever seen him. Will admits that it was one of the greatest moments of his life because he was doing what he loves, but he has to provide for his family. Emma asks him what he's providing for them. The understanding that money is more important, or that the only life worth living is the one you're truly passionate about. Such a great line. That is such a great line. It really bums me out that they kind of ruined that character, but Emma was a great character in the beginning of the series.
Yeah, she kind of got annoying to me.
They just kind of devolved her character after like season 3, I think. Yeah. They kind of devolved that character. Finn informs Rachel that he will not be returning to the Glee Club now that Mr. Shu is leaving. Rachel is disappointed because he is wasting his talent. Later, Finn finds Puck and other football players outside the porta potties by the football field. They have Artie trapped inside and are going to tip it over. Finn has finally had enough. Artie is handicapped and can't defend himself, which makes things even worse. When Finn lets Artie out, Puck asks why he is defending this loser. Finn tells Puck and his friends that they are all losers. Everyone in the school, everyone in this town, and that majority of them are going to spend the rest of their life in this loser town. Finn says he is tired of being who he is and wants to do something that makes him happy. Puck asks if he is quitting the football team. Finn says he is doing both. The football team can't win without him, and same for the Glee Club. Finn and Artie leave, and they see Darren greening the football team while jamming out to Don't Stop Believin' by Journey. So when I say landscaper, Darren's the guy that dyes the field green. I don't know if that's a real thing. I think we've talked about that before.
Yes, there's green paint for grass. Yeah.
We've talked about that before. Finn goes to the other Glee Club members and asks for their forgiveness and informs him that he isn't quitting. He decides to put his natural leadership skills to the test and assigns everyone a job to do their first big number. As Will is leaving the school, he hears music and singing coming from the auditorium. He goes to see what it is and watches the Glee Club do their first big performance, Don't Stop Believing by Journey. They sound incredible and look comfortable and natural on stage. Sue, Quinn, and Santana watch from the balcony and Puck watches from the stands. When they are done, Will applauds them and says that it's good, but it could be better. When they ask if he's staying, Will says it would kill them to watch them win nationals without him. The episode ends with Will's recurring closing line, "From the top."
From the top.
Such a great pilot. Such a great pilot. The Don't Stop Believing at the end. I remember the first time watching that. I specifically remember getting chills. I specifically remember rewinding it a bunch of times because I wanted to keep watching it. So I didn't watch the pilot like when it originally aired. I was told to watch it And the first episode I watched was the first episode back. It was the Power of Madonna episode. That was the first episode I watched, like, when it aired.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I binged it in like 2 days or something like that. I love the show so much. So I stuck with the show till the end. I didn't give up on it just because I just committed so much time to it. This was when I was a lot more committed to TV shows. This is when I was a lot more like, now I'm just kind of like, I'm over it. I don't want to watch the show anymore. Like, I'm like that very much. But then I had a lot more patience. There was a lot less streaming and a lot less to watch back then. But yeah, it's on Disney and Hulu Plus, Hulu and Disney Plus. Sorry, they're all running together. I almost said Disney Max, but then I said
it might be that one day.
They're all
Disney buys everything.
They're all combining now. But yeah, so it's on Hulu and Disney Plus. There, I said it right. If you've never watched this show. If you're really into music, if you're really into dark comedy, it's not a traditional musical because it's music that you're familiar with, and it has a great sense of humor. It has an amazing cast, and yeah, I can't recommend this show enough. I love this show. I've always loved this show. I will always love this show, no matter what people say or do.
Yeah, I love it.
You ready to wrap this up?
Yes.
All right. All right, that wraps up this episode. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, go ahead and follow us on whichever platform you're listening to this podcast on. That way you'll be notified every time we publish a new episode. You can also follow us on Instagram at WeJudgePilotPod. We're also on Facebook. You can leave us a comment, suggest a show for us to watch, or leave some emojis in the comments. What you got?
Any of the music.
Of course.
Music notes, microphone, any of the instruments. I have the Buckeye for Ohio.
Nice.
The megaphone for the cheerleaders and Sue Sylvester, the football, the wheelchair, the hockey puck for Puck.
Nice.
Any of the berries for Rachel Berry. The car, the germs for Emma Pillsbury. The cereal bowl for the Cheerios.
That's
the
good
cash for the $60 he needs to pay for the room. The clown for Mr. Cellophane. The shower, the champagne, the pregnant lady, and the toilet. All right. Well, we are going to head out, but we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening.